pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting's being televised and recorded by WHCA. We'll start it off with a moment of silence. Like a motion to approve bill and payroll warrants.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept correspondence in the read file.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Public forum, now is the time for anyone to speak on something that's not on the agenda. And I'm going to dispense with the chairman's report, or my chairman's report this evening, but Vice Chairman Salvucci does have something that he wants to announce.
Thank you, Powell.
And then I'm going to turn it over to Sean, who has some remarks that he wants to make.
Okay, thank you. I'm reporting this from Bruce Martin, Superintendent from DPW, stating the fact that we have kids in the park using motorized scooters and skateboards, and they're not allowed in the park. A lot of them are doing like spin outs and stuff like that and digging up the soft soil on the pathways where people walk, and also driving by people or scooting by them, and they're just not allowed in the park. So I asked the kids if they would refrain from doing that. That's it.
Okay, Sean.
Thank you. Yeah, I did some reflecting after last night's meeting, and like Mary Beth, I was up late thinking. But I think the thing that kind of was throwing me off and has definitely got me worried was when they last had the April 8th, I believe, school committee meeting. There was some good discussion that was had, and when Chairman Beth Stafford opened the meeting, and she was given the introduction to the assessment discussion, she talked about the meeting that you guys had together, where you met, Mary Beth and Dr. Kowalski, you guys met with the leadership from Hanson, and you had a good discussion. You talked about the override, you talked about the need for a smaller override, and she made it sound like, and you guys have reported that you guys were on board, that there was a plan that was kind of made, and that's kind of what she presented to the school committee. There was some discussion after that where they talked about how they're going to split the assessment, so it was clearly understood that there was going to be the 5% in Article 2, and then the 2.78 on the override. So an override was discussed. It was talked about how it was discussed with you guys, and then when I left the meeting after everybody voted in favor for it, I thought going into last night's meeting that the school committee was going to support the small override, in their words, small override. So I was a little bit thrown off when they didn't. And maybe I was a little bit naive, because thinking back the last month, there hasn't been a big promotion for the override, that kind of thing. So it wasn't until like halfway through the meeting I thought, well, how the heck are we're trying to support the plan when the school committee is actively not supporting the plan. Like, this isn't going to work. Like, this isn't. So I definitely felt some tension. It wasn't really until today, really, that I thought, well, if you think about it, the idea was for Whitman and Hanson and the school to all step forward together and to actively promote and support this override going to the ballot. That was the plan. That's how I understood it anyways. When the school committee is actively not doing that and actually speaking out against it, and the school is very quiet about it, how the heck are we going to sell that? How is that plan going to be implemented? And of course, that's what happened in Hanson, is it didn't pass. The best chance that we had to increase educational funding was through an override. Hanson's in much worse financial situation than we are. So for people in our community to be undermining the override, when I think the best chance that we had to increase educational funding was for it to pass, is worrisome for me. It didn't pass. So that makes almost everything that happened last night not irrelevant, but almost irrelevant. What happens next? What is their plan for, if their intentions were actually to increase funding for education this year, then how are they going to do that? You know, so I'm concerned about that. I'm worried that I thought we had a good plan moving forward that was, as far as I'm concerned, the best chances of increasing educational funding, although it was probably difficult to pass an override. Now we're in a circumstance where we almost assuredly can't, and that's worrisome. You know, and I don't know any other way to say it. I don't mind good debate. I think there was some really good debate that was had last night. There was some people who have been paying attention to this stuff for a long time that spoke on the floor, and it's really healthy to have that discussion. So I'm not taking away from that. I think healthy discussion for sure is an important part of the process. And the Finance Committee, they were able to, it was an impressive political move that they were able to make that changed the course of the way things went. I'm just worried that although they were able to do that, it really undermined our ability to increase educational funding, which was ultimately the goal.
May I say something?
Thank you, Sean. Yes.
I agree with you, Sean, and I, like Mary Beth and you, was up. I'm sure we all were. I found it very disheartening how divided we became. Not of our own free will, but suddenly I felt like we were all outcasts, and a town cannot run divided. We are perceived by the people that do not know us, have not reached out to us, that we are, I don't want to say unapproachable, but with all of the stuff that's on TV, it's right there. I mean, I met someone from Rhode Island the other day, and they're tuned into their podcast to Canton, and it gives a very negative light. And I think people take that and run, and I think that in times, and you certainly would understand, Sean, that in times of great worry, that people get afraid, and they lash out. And so I didn't so much mind that they thought we were distrustful or didn't trust us or whatever. But when you have a finance committee and you have selectmen or board, whatever you want to call it, you have good, strong people, leaders, helping all together with different visions and opinions and strengths to join together community. And I just hope that after last night's meeting, that next year is going to be unbelievable, difficult. I feel like I went out and bought $1 million home with a $200 salary. You know, I don't know how we're going to survive next year, but I hope that people will come, they'll reach out. Mary Beth could not be more approachable. Everyone here is approachable. Justin does an awful lot on social media. We're trying to keep people up to date. And even though that's not everybody's forte, a lot of people are on social media. So I just welcome everybody to come to the meetings from now on. There is no good or bad guy. There is no winner or loser. This is our community. So everything that is done affects us all. And I applaud all the hard work that you have all done. And I try the best I can to be a voice for the people, and I don't think anybody is happy out there, you know, and that divide needs to come back and strengthen community. And I believe we can do that because I believe we're all strong leaders that love this town.
Thank you very much, Laura.
You're welcome.
Just one correction. It was clear at that school committee meeting when Beth was speaking about our meeting that the school committee wasn't voting for an override, to do an override. They were voting a change in their assessment. But it was clear also that the plan was for us to cover that change, that drop in assessment, with a small override. That was clear, but it shouldn't be construed that they voted for it. Some people think that some of us were construing that. We weren't. it was, we're the ones that have to put an override on the warrant, and we did. Now, I agree, except for that little correction, I agree with everything you say, and it is disturbing, because it's going to be, the schools do have, well, you can't say this, because now that Hanson has rejected their budget, there's some other things down the road that are going to have to happen. Another school committee to recertify or not recertify, perhaps a by-town meeting. It's going to be a lot to go on from now on. What I liked about the plan that had the small override in it was that it was a small, affordable, as Mary Beth said, override, $8 a month, which, however, lifts our floor for every year to come in a small way, and it would make things easier to transition to that budget situation that you like to envision, where we can handle these things without a lot of stress. It's going to be stressful. However, Laura is saying that we're strong enough to
Amen.
Amen, to get through the stress, and she correctly thanked Justin for his social media presence, which helps out a lot. I'm not particularly a social media guy, because I have to read everything that's out there, and I can't read everything that's out there.
I would advise against that.
Me too.
I have friends that give me the stuff to read, and it's not always the happy stuff. But anyway, that's that. That's the gist of the chairman's report. Our new business tonight. Vote to approve the sale of the town's up to $20 million principal amount of general obligation building bonds and execute necessary documents. They are right here, and they're here to be signed after we take votes. Act on the following motion to authorize issuance of bonds. There are a number of votes to make. I'm going to read what the votes are, and then we'll take a single vote at the end covering all of them. Voted that the sale of the $19,070,000 general obligation building bonds of the town dated May 15th, 2024, from now on known as the bonds, to TD Securities USA LLC at the price of $20,123,010.85, and accrued interest, if any, is hereby approved and affirmed. The bond shall be payable on May 15th of the years and in the principal amounts, and bear interest at the respective rates as follows. And there's a list that you all have in front of you of the years from 2025 to 2024 with the amounts and the interest rates for each year that change as the years go on. Number two, further voted that in connection with the marketing and sale of the bonds, the preparation and distribution of a notice of sale and preliminary official statement dated April 23rd, 2024, and in a final official statement dated April 30th, 2024, called the official statement, each in such form as may be approved by the town treasurer, be and hereby are ratified, confirmed, approved, and adopted. Further voted that the bond shall be subject to redemption at the option of the town upon such terms and conditions as are set forth in the official statement. Further voted that the town treasurer and the Board of Selectmen be and hereby are authorized to execute and deliver a continuing disclosure undertaking in compliance with SEC Rule 15C2-12 in such form as may be approved by bond counsel to the town, which undertaking shall be incorporated by reference in the bonds for the benefit of the holders of the bonds from time to time. Further voted that we authorize and direct the town treasurer to establish post-issuance federal tax compliance procedures and continuing disclosure procedures in such forms as the town treasurer and bond counsel deem sufficient, or if such procedures are currently in place, to review and update said procedures in order to monitor and maintain the tax-exempt status of the bonds and to comply with relevant securities laws. Further voted that any certificates or documents relating to the bonds, collectively the documents, may be executed in several counterparts, each of which shall be regarded as an original, and all of which shall constitute one and the same document, delivery of an executed counterpart of a signature page to a document by electronic mail or in a PDF file, or by other electronic transmission, shall be as effective as delivery of a manually executed counterpart signature page to such document. And electronic signatures on any of the documents shall be deemed original signatures for the purposes of the documents and all matters relating thereto, having the same legal effect as original signatures. And finally, further voted that each member of the Board of Selectmen, the town clerk, and the town treasurer be and hereby are authorized to take any and all such actions and execute and deliver such certificates, receipts, or other documents as may be determined by them or any of them to be necessary or convenient to carry into effect the provisions of the foregoing votes. Could I have a motion to accept those votes?
So moved.
Second. Are there any questions?
This is for the DPW?
All those in favor? Aye. And it's unanimous vote. And we have a number of things here to be signed by the treasurer and by the select board. The only thing I noticed, we refer to the Board of Selectmen. Last night, we voted to be calling ourselves the Select Board at the town meeting. I don't know if that document has to be amended to say Select Board.
For
For purposes
I
of
would
this.
say for practical purposes, maybe we'll wait for the Attorney General to approve our change in the bylaws.
Beautiful, I love it, thank you very much. Thank you.
Perfect.
And I was
Then
going to say it's an annual warrant, which
Yeah.
is for July 1st,
Right,
because it
okay.
wasn't under a prior year article.
Right.
So
Okay, good, so this is all right.
I say it's all right.
Okay,
Do you
excellent.
agree? Yes?
So, we will be signing this a little bit later. Do you need to take these with you? No, okay,
I'm just here to answer questions.
okay. Does anyone have any, well, they voted without asking you any questions. Is that-
It's simple, it's
Okay.
plain, you know.
Okay, thank you. Town Administrator's report is next.
Okay, thank you. There's one item that I wanted to mention. We did receive a letter from Tom Hickey of the South Shore Boat Tech recently, and stating that they've had some meetings, they're moving forward, and the project is advancing into the preferred schematic design phase. This project seems to be moving along
Yeah.
very quickly. They are planning to have a ballot election on the project on Saturday, January 25th, 2025, with polling hours from 9 to 5. And they did meet with all the town clerks in the district to review this. So I would really like to see Tom come out to a Board of Selectmen's meeting in June. And then we have to start talking about, you know, an override and so forth, where a ballot question is coming up in January. So I think it's good if he comes out maybe in June, and then maybe later in September or so for another update when they know more, if that's okay.
Great, perfect. Sorry.
I have a question on that, and I think you've explained it to me before, but just to clarify, if the at-large vote in all member towns passes, the town of Whitman is on the hook for the bill whether or not we pass an override?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. We would need an override,
Yeah.
a debt exclusion,
Right.
yeah.
But we're
Debt
also
exclusion.
changing the way we're going to do it. We're going to do like every 4 years.
So they are bringing forth a warrant article for consideration at the fall town meetings to
Yeah.
change how the debt is apportioned, moving from a fixed debt share to a 4-year rolling average.
Right.
I surely hope that that goes through,
Yeah, sure.
because Whitman has the greatest portion out of all the towns. Currently, we have 24.25% of the debt. So I would not like to see us pay 24.25% for the next 30 years.
Right.
Or I would like to see the rolling forward to be fair. So I hope that that change is able to take place as well.
No, it should pass. And just to let you know, town meetings that were held all last night, South Shore VOTEC's budget is passed.
Oh,
The
great,
full budget from all the towns.
excellent.
Okay. When's our next meeting date in May is the 21st, is that correct?
Yes.
I unfortunately will not be able to be here on the 21st. We're going to be away. And usually that's the night when, after the election, when we reorganize. I'd like to ask you all if we could postpone reorganization until like get back in June, so that the whole board can be part of it.
Absolutely.
Extended me that courtesy a couple years ago, so I appreciate that.
Is that,
A baby.
Will you be back the 28th?
oh, that's a good reason.
Yeah.
Paul, will you be back the 28th?
No,
No?
no, I won't. I won't be back until May 30th.
Okay.
First, is the next meeting.
Okay, then the next thing, the last thing on the agenda is an executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation with MassCop if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, voice vote?
Yes.
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 And we will be coming back in open session only to adjourn the meeting.